Hey everyone, this is Jim and welcome to 20 Questions with Freewayjim. What I'm hoping to do here is answer a lot of questions that I get on almost all the videos. It seems I get some of these questions here and there, sometimes more than once in the same video. So I thought that this would be good for people who are curious about the inner workings behind how the videos are made and my approach to them and such. So my friend Justin Yee, you may recognize him from the Las Vegas videos. He's been in the car with me and been a co-producer on all those videos. He actually came up with the idea to do this and wrote down some questions. And the more I thought about it, I thought, yeah, this could be fun and hopefully give people the insight that they're looking for with this. It's hard to mention all of these things during the course of a video, so I thought that this would be a good place to do it. So here we go. Question number 1 is up next. The song you just heard at the opening of this video and every video I do is called Chelsea Loft. It's some royalty-free stock music that came with the iMovie program. So in essence, it's an Apple loop. And I actually have heard it before I started using it on some local TV commercials. And I thought it was catchy. And when I stumbled across it when looking for something to start off my videos with many years ago, this kind of jumped out at me. There's a 13-second version, which is what I'm using, but the full version is 37 seconds, and it is on YouTube. So if you want to hear the full version, just do a search for Chelsea Loft, and it'll be there. Question number 2, and I get this one a lot, is what kind of camera or dash cam do you use? I don't use a dash cam. I use a Sony Handycam HDR PJ710. I purchased it in 2013 as an open box at Best Buy. I think I paid about $700 for it. It was $1,400 regularly, brand new. So I got a steal on this thing, and it's been very good to me. The image stabilization on it is sensational. It doesn't matter what car I'm driving. The videos will come out just as smooth no matter what, or even on a rough road. So that's what I use, a Sony Handycam. And I have it mounted in the front seat, which will bring us to question 3. This is a really good question that I get because there's so many different ways to do it. I found what works for me, and here's a photo of my setup inside of my car, which I'll get to in the next question. As you can see, the tripod is in the front seat. It is essential to have a tripod with free-flowing legs. What you want to do is get it wedged in there as tight as possible so that if you have to start or stop quick or take a little sharper turn than you anticipated, the tripod and camera won't move and it won't affect your video at all. So I really try to wedge those legs in there with the seat. Now, most of the time, whoever is filming with me, whether it be my son or my wife, is sitting in the front seat, and that gives the tripod a little extra support, which is good, but you can do this alone easily. I've done it many times by myself. You just got to spend a little extra time getting it right, getting it level, but once you have it set in there, you're pretty much good to go for as long as you want to keep it in there. Another thing you'll notice about this setup on the dashboard is the black cover. This is the thing that can help you more than anything else as far as making the quality of your videos better. It doesn't cost much to make. I just cut out a cardboard box. I think it was a 20 by 12 by 12, something like that, and I cut it out in the shape of the dashboard, and my wife, who's very handy with crafts and such, was able to add a cover to it. So when you put that, it folds up, fits in the trunk nicely, but when you put that cover on, it covers up all the glare from the windshield and all the reflections. It's a very simple thing that makes a big difference. So I highly recommend anybody who has aspirations of making videos or even taking pictures from the car. I use this just for taking pictures as well. That's why I made it completely across the dash. But this is the general setup inside the car as far as mounting the camera and everything that makes the video look as good as it does. What kind of car do you drive? I'll be honest, I never quite understood the fascination with this question. It's hard to tell one car from another from the actual video, but I guess there are a lot of car guys out there or people who are just interested in that sort of thing. So I do put it in the closing credits. It's there. Starting in 2006, I drove my wife's Acura MDX on most trips, which was a really nice vehicle to film from. Starting in 2013, I used the Acura TL Advance. I still have the car. It's got 160,000 miles on it after 3 cross-country trips, plus more than that, other trips. In 2017, we used a Toyota Tundra, which it's really nice sitting up high like that. You can definitely tell a difference in the 2017 videos being up high. And in 2019 on our recent trip, and currently I'm using a Genesis G90, which is a wonderful driving car. I love it. I do not drive a big rig, which many people have actually asked that. No, I'm not a trucker, just a hobby, and those are my vehicles. What kind of video editing software do you use? I post this as well in the closing credits of every video. I use Apple's Final Cut Pro X on an iMac Pro. It's a wonderful setup. I couldn't be happier with it. When I first started doing videos, I was using iMovie on a low-end iMac, which was fun, but then I graduated to Final Cut Express at the time and started using it on a MacBook Pro laptop. Then in 2013, I jumped up to the Final Cut Pro X software that I'm using now, and it gets constantly updated. And very happy with it. It's very flexible. I pretty much do anything you can think of on it. And there's still probably a lot more I have to learn about using it, but it's wonderful software. Making a good video has a lot to do with the route you choose to film. For me, before trips, I do a lot of research, especially if it's an area I'm not familiar with. I'll use Google Street View, Google Maps, to kind of get a feel for the area and what it might look like, and if it's worth filming or not. I don't really take requests, but I will take suggestions from people that I trust, that I know have been to the area, and that I know have a good perspective of what's interesting and what isn't. So I tend to rely on that, and then my own experiences as well in other places, seeing photographs, videos that other people have done. There's a lot that goes into it, but I really do try to film things that I feel that my audience will find as interesting as I did. So there's really not an exact science into it. It's just more somewhat feel than anything, but the more you drive and the more you see, the better idea you get as for what's interesting and what isn't. Music is a very sensitive and personal subject for most of us. We're very passionate about the music we like, and sometimes more passionate about the music we don't like. As far as picking a music for a video, I'll look at the video and footage and see what is it like? What are the skies like? What's the traffic like? Sometimes I'll go back to what did I feel at the time we were filming it? Sometimes that won't matter at all. But I just try to find music that'll match those feelings and match the vibes that I get from looking at the footage. And then once you find the music, you want to set the right speed to it. A big mistake you can make that'll really make a video awkward to watch is, maybe put some smooth jazz tune on there and put it up to the speed of the footage up to 4 or 5x. I've seen some people do things like that. Or you wouldn't want to have a real raucous heavy metal song to a peaceful, relaxing 2-lane road with no traffic on it. You just really find the right music to fit the vibe of your footage. In my case, I just feel like I've got a good feel for it. There's no other way to put it. I realize not everybody's going to like the songs I pick, and not everybody's going to hate them either. So I just do what I feel is best to make the best possible video that I can at that point in time. And if it doesn't work, that's what remixes are for. This is a question I get now and then, mostly from people who are new to the channel. How do I get around using copyrighted music? And I'm not really getting around anything. This has basically run by YouTube. The people who own the songs and the copyrights tell YouTube how they want the copyrights handled for them to be used on the platform. And YouTube sets forth the policies and enforces them. What I do is, and most of the other road video producers do this as well, we have test channels. We'll upload a couple songs to a still photograph, so it makes for a small upload, and we'll upload it to our test channel to see how YouTube plays with the copyrights on the song. See if I like to say, will it play nice or not? And that way, if you use a song that's you shouldn't use, and you get a strike, it's only on your test channel, and if you lose your test channel, big deal, you just start another one. But you certainly wouldn't want that happening to your main channel. So we put them up on the test channel and see how they work, and then we know if it's safe or not to use on the regular channel. If it's not safe, that means find another song or songs. But as far as this goes, I mean, it's doing our road videos are really not much different than all the people who have the lyric videos or the videos with these beautiful backgrounds to a lot of songs out there. YouTube is littered with those. I don't mean littered in a bad way. I mean, they're really good and they get a heck of a lot more views than me or any of my road video producers, fellow road producers get. But it's the same concept. So we're not getting away with anything that anybody else isn't getting away with, I guess, for lack of a better term. Which brings me to the next question. Some people have asked me if I make any money for these videos, and the answer is a big fat no. I don't make anything, zero, zilch, nada, what have you. As part of complying with the YouTube copyright policies, the copyright owners are allowed to monetize the videos, which means I am not allowed to monetize the videos. And considering I've got over 25 million views since this channel has been up, that'd be some pretty nice change to have as far as whatever they pay for that. But it's okay. It's a small price to pay, I guess, to be able to use the great music I've been able to use over the years. I have sold usage of some footage one time. A guy wanted to make a music video for his band, and he inquired to me about buying the raw footage to one of the videos I did. And so I sent him a digital copy of it, and he sent me a one-time payment for it, and that was it. He could do whatever he wants with it after that. I generally let people who want to use the footage, if they can take it from YouTube and use it, they're more than welcome to do that. But if somebody's going to want raw footage, that creates work for me. I have to go through a certain process to get that for them. I can't just send them the video clip. So I will ask for money on that if anybody wanted to use raw footage for anything. But as far as the videos as you see them on YouTube, nope, I'm not getting anything, and I'm okay with that. Some people ask me, how do you make your signs and how do you make them so real? It's because they are real. The signs are taken from with a different camera, not the video camera. They're taken from a still camera, and then the signs are cropped out of the photograph. And the signs are treated as a separate JPEG file, and they get imported into the software and drag them onto the timeline where you want them, and it's that easy. Here's an example. Here's the regular photo, and this is in Kansas City. And I'll take that photo and I'll crop the sign I want to use out. And it's the only sign in the photo. And so we do this, and that becomes a separate file. And it gets dragged into the software and dragged onto the timeline. It's just that simple. Sometimes I will make a sign. I have some templates with the green background and such. And inside of the Final Cut software, you can put all the text in any way you want, in any font you want, as well as some arrows and such. The rest of the signs, like the interstate shields, the U.S. shields, and the speed limit signs, come from Wikipedia. They're very easy to find. You just drag them out, and they become a separate file and import them into your software. And boom, it's that easy. Just drag them onto the sideline. I wish it was more complex than that, but it isn't. It's just a matter of doing a lot of it. And some videos, you're going to be doing dozens of these, and it can get tedious. And I'll get to that next. how long does it take to make a video? There's a big gap there. It can take anywhere from maybe 2 to 3 hours to 12, 14, 16 hours over the course of a few days. It just depends on how long the video is, how many songs are in the soundtrack, how many signs do I need to crop and put into the video. Sometimes, the cropping, and I didn't touch on this in the last question, but the cropping can be quite tedious because sometimes it really takes a couple minutes just to get one sign just right. You've got to just get on that fine line there and get it as straight as you can and get it as finely cropped as you can. So that can be pretty tedious. Doing the annotations can be tedious because sometimes it involves a lot of research. If it's an area I'm not too familiar with, or I want to be factually right, so that people don't, come in and make their comments, because they will. If you're wrong, you'll hear about it. So it can just take 2 to 3 hours to maybe, 12, 14, 16 hours over the course of maybe like 3-4 hours a day to do it. It just depends on how long it is. So when you see these long videos up here, know that it took a while, because it did. The soundtrack itself is an interesting thing, because even for a video of similar length, if it takes a lot of songs to make, that means a lot of testing, looking for things. It can just be a bear. Now, sometimes if the soundtrack comes easy to me, like the Montana video, 2004, that came real easy to me. And the video itself didn't take much to make because there weren't a lot of signs involved and other roads and interchanges and stuff. So that was a real easy one to make. The one after it, Kansas City, took a long time to make because there was so much involved riding around a city like that. So the short answer is it just depends. But I thought you guys might appreciate a little more detail and insight than that. Every once in a while, I'll get the question, hey, can you make this in real time? Or why don't you make this in real time speed so I can see the signs and what have you? The short answer is no and no. No, because the files would just be huge. Unless you're showing something fantastic like driving through the Cross Bronx Expressway for a few miles, real-time speed really could get boring fast. And what makes it worse is there's some dynamic, I don't know the physical reason for it, but when you look at a video in real-time speed that came from a camcorder, it actually feels like you're going half the speed that you really are. It does not feel like 60, 70 miles an hour at all when you watch a video like fresh out of the camcorder. When I look at it to see what it's like, it just feels very slow. So my personal opinion is I think that makes for an extremely boring video. And I'm just not going to do it. And also I'm not going to make duplicate 30, 40-minute files of another ride that I put a lot of effort into making a production out of. It's just, to me, it's pointless. So I'm sorry that may disappoint some of you, but it's not going to happen. Beside YouTube, the main other platform that I'm on is Facebook. We have the Freewayjim Facebook group, which has over 3,000 members. You're welcome to come join us. We have a lot of fun in there. I try to give people updates on there to things, and as far as what my plans might or might not be, especially this year. The couple of videos I've made that I've put on there as group exclusives. We share photos. We talk about road projects. Fun stuff, whatever. So I'm very much involved with the Freewayjim Facebook group. My son Eric created an Instagram page, and I don't think he kept up with it. I'll be honest with you, I've never even logged on to Instagram, so I don't know much about it. But you might be able to search it. It's probably Freewayjim something. I don't know, but it hasn't been kept up within a couple of years, and it's just I don't do Twitter either, things like that. Facebook's enough for me to handle, managing the group and participating in it, as well as groups of other interests I have on there. Takes up a lot of time as it is. So it's either YouTube or Facebook. Do I do meetups or get-togethers? Not usually. I've done a few in the past, but they're exceptions to the rule. These are people I've known on Facebook and developed a very strong rapport with over the course of a few years. We have other mutual interests just besides rows and videos. They're people I would call online friends, and that's different. Sometimes I get people I don't even know. Will say, "Hey, next time you're in so and so, look me up. Let's get together. Or let me know." And it's like I'm not going to do that with people I don't have any kind of relationship with. It's just I would recommend anyone else doing it either. Another issue that plays against doing a lot of meetups and get-together is time. When you're on a long road trip, timing sometimes can be pretty fine, meaning you don't really have a lot of room for error. And if you do get held up somewhere else, then it can just knock everything else out of whack too. So unless I'm someplace where I know I'm going to be for a few days and have some time to play with, that's different. But as a general rule, that's really not something I look to do. I do get asked more than occasionally if I have any plans to film outside the U.S. as well as Alaska and Hawaii. And my answer to that is probably not to definitely not. Canada is a maybe. I'd like to see some things there, and it's attainable. Just need to get a passport. I've just never had a use for one before, but that's not too hard to do. But Canada's a maybe, not a strong maybe, but a maybe. But Alaska, Hawaii, Europe, Japan, China, what have you, Australia, I have absolutely no interest in traipsing halfway around the world on an airplane, 10, 12 hours, whatever it takes, and carrying all the gear that I need to carry to do it right, learning a bunch of new traffic laws. And I know some places are pretty draconian as far as speeding goes. And then there's Germany, which is the opposite. But really, I just have no desire to do that. To me, it feels like far more of a hassle than what I would get out of it. So that's where it stands. Probably not to definitely not. Sometimes I get questions from people asking, do you have videos from here, or do you have videos from there, or have you filmed there, or you should film here? Folks, there's a powerful search engine within YouTube that'll answer those questions for you. All the videos are listed. I've got over 565, 570 videos. And at worst case, if you just want to do a Google search, just type in Freewayjim and the location you're interested in or wondering about, and that'll come up too. I also have a bunch of playlists in my channel where either through states or through large metropolitan areas with all the videos I've shot of those places. So before you ask those questions, I invite you to just do a little searching first, and you'll get your answers quicker that way, I promise. One question I get that I really like is, what are your favorite cities and states to visit? I've been to all 48 states, and I've been to every major city in the country. California, by far and away, is number one on the list. And the cities, San Francisco, LA, San Diego. In California, I mean, you've got the redwoods, you've got the Sierras, the desert, the coastline. It's just everything is there. It's an amazing driving experience. The roads, the freeways. I can't get enough of it, and I never feel like I have enough time in California. And I'll be quite honest, I'm a little sad when I have to leave. I'm sure living there might be a different experience, so I'm just talking purely as a tourist / road geek. But that's definitely my thing. I love Seattle. Would like to go back again, and would like to explore more of the state of Washington, which from what I saw on I-90 coming to Seattle is just beautiful as well. So I know there's a lot more to see there off the beaten path, and hopefully one day I'll get to do it. I love Houston and Dallas just for the sheer amount of freeways there, and Texas builds them in grand style. Getting from one city to another in Texas isn't it's kind of meh, but once you get there to those cities, it's pretty darn interesting. Pittsburgh is one of my favorite cities. Such a unique mix of old and new. I love going to Pittsburgh. I never get bored there. It's one of the most photogenic cities to me that I've been to. I also love my home state of New Hampshire. It's very quaint, a little slower lifestyle than everywhere else, and a lot of good childhood memories there. So that's pretty much it. There's a lot of places I do. Oh, can't forget about I-70 west of Denver. That is just an amazing drive. If you just really want to have a ride experience, a driving experience on the interstate system that can't be topped, it's I-70 west of Denver all the way into Utah. And I have not seen the last 50 miles to I-15, but I'm sure it's fine too. And also throw Vegas in there. That's just a wonderful place to visit. And it always helps that we see friends when we go there too. That makes it all that much more fun. But yeah, definitely. If you know what, get out and travel. That's all I can say. When things get back to normal and you're able to, get out and travel, because it's an amazing country we live in. Do you do live streams on your trips? I have done some Facebook live streams into the Freewayjim Facebook group. In fact, in 2017 on our Florida trip, Eric and I did several of them. Eric was really good at running the phone and keeping reading out questions to me, and we just would kind of interact with everybody as we were driving along in Florida, and especially in downtown Miami one night. And I'll be honest with you, it was a lot of fun. I've never done a live stream to YouTube, but there's a first time for everything. I'm sure I'll try that at some point. But my biggest issue with the live streams is the quality of the footage of what people say. It just isn't there. The phone doesn't have quite the image stabilization that my camera does, and it'd be really bumpy, and sometimes your signal's a little weak and we'd lose it. So that it's not up to the standards I'd like to have for it, but it's something I would like to do more of someday if we can get those kinks worked out, because it was a lot of fun on my end, and the feedback from the people on the other end in the group who participated with us seemed to enjoy it as well. So definitely something I'd like to do more of someday. Why did I start making videos? That is a great question. And I could probably go 15, 20 minutes or more answering it, because there's a lot of levels to that. But just to keep it short here, for the sake of this 20 questions bit, I basically started in 2004. I had done photos for 5 years, and I just wanted to add something else to it to share with people. The Boston, the I-93, the Big Dig was close to being completed, and I had a video camera, and I thought, oh, let me bring it with me and see if I can't capture it and show people it, because it really was quite a engineering project at the time. Well, that footage ended up being the first videos I put on YouTube in 2007. And actually the first video, Boston at Night, is in real time with music from the radio playing, or CD or whatever I had at the time. But that's where it all started. And I saw some other people who did videos that I thought were pretty good, and that inspired me to, well, I'll try my hand at it. I've gone to school. I've got a degree in broadcasting journalism, and I've done video work before. My company did some corporate videos, so I kind of had a good feel for how that worked, and so I thought I'd try my hand at it. And here we are, with 44,000 subscribers and over 25 million views in 13 years, beyond my wildest dreams. But I started making them at first just basically as a hobby and just to share with family and friends, and then it grew from there. And I'm quite amazed and humbled by it all, to be honest with you. But it was just, to me, a step beyond photos. There were a lot of people contributing to the hobby. It's funny, when you meet road geeks, other road geeks, they tend to say, I thought I was the only one. And I've heard that a lot, and I thought that too for the longest time before the internet brought a lot of us together. But I wanted to contribute more than just photos to the hobby. We have some people who have done some amazing websites. Other people have done some great video and photos and things. So that was just my way of throwing my hat in the ring, saying, "Hey, I love roads too, and here's what I'm offering to the cause." And it's turned into an amazing YouTube channel and an amazing experience for me, and it inspired me to travel to places I might not have gone to. I kind of a little embarrassed that it took me till the age of 47 to go out west and go to California, but I did, and I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I participated in all of this, and I've certainly enjoyed everybody else's participation too along the way. Another great question that I get is, hey, I really like your videos. How can I make them? And there's a lot to that. And I've touched on quite a bit of it already in this 20 questions. But if you really are interested in learning how to do this and make your own videos, and I think that's great, and I encourage people to do that, if it's something you're interested in, go to the Freewayjim group and dial up our comprehensive guide to making videos. It's written by myself and all the other veteran producers who frequent that group. It's not just my perspective. Everybody's got theirs as well, and there's more than one way to do this. I like to say if you took 10 of us and gave us the same clip of footage, you'd get 10 different videos out of it. It's all about, once you get past the basics of getting your frame right, getting your camera mounted, getting a black dashboard cover, keeping your windshield clean, which, I could tell you stories about that. It's not fun and it's not easy sometimes, but it's got to be done if you want to do it well. Once you get all the basics down, it's about finding your style. This is a wonderful creative outlet. You would definitely enjoy it once you get rolling. But make sure you do it. Don't do it for the wrong reasons. And those wrong reasons are doing it for likes and attention and clicks and comments and things like that. I think you'll be sorely disappointed if that's your motivation. But if you really love roads and love filming and you want to put your spin on it and have a creative outlet for yourself, then that's a wonderful thing, and you should definitely pursue that. Well, that's it for 20 questions. I hope everybody enjoyed this. It was different for me to put together. It took longer than I originally thought it would. I had all the questions written down in a few notes, but it got a little more involved than that. But thank you for watching, for those of you who stuck with me all the way to the end especially. I really appreciate it, and I hope this answered a lot of questions that people had, and maybe is a resource moving forward for some other things. But thank you again, and thank you for being part of the channel and subscribing and watching and commenting on the videos. I really do appreciate it. And it's something, every time I get a new video up there, I really look forward to seeing what people think and feel about it. So thank you for making this fun for me as well. Take care, everyone.